Hello, welcome. It's directly to you. It's episode 241. I'm AJ. I'm joined by Parker. We're Redirect. We do a podcast.
Hello.
We're jumping into the podcast. We're talking about the Mario movie, kinda. A little bit. But more so, the success of the Mario movie and the fact that that's going to prompt more movies. And we know for a fact because Miyamoto said so himself.
Indeed, yeah. Mega Man said no spoilers. He hasn't seen it yet, and sounds good. No spoilers. I'm actually seeing it again on Saturday for my daughter's second birthday. This will be her first movie. So that'll be a nice little time. But yeah, so Miyamoto said some stuff. Here's the exact article. I'm going to read it, and here it goes. The Super Mario Bros. Movie has undoubtedly been a massive success for both Nintendo and Illumination, setting records across the board and putting a smile on cinema goers' faces. Spoiler, you're going to smile. Now, legendary video game creator Shigeru Miyamoto has reconfirmed to Japanese news site Nihon Keizai that there is no doubt that he will make another film based on Nintendo franchises. We don't know what's next after the success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but it is sure to end up being another smash hit. Interesting. More movies? Who would have
ever guessed that?
Would have.
I would have guessed that a long time ago.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the newsy bit is just like, cool. It's nice that there's confirmation. I mean, like, even if there was an official confirmation at this point, it making $1 billion in less than a month feels like a pretty safe bet that it was going to happen again regardless. But, we'll see.
We shall
exactly
see.
What that looks like.
But
yeah, we're going to get into... Exactly. Yeah, go for it.
Before that, we're going to pick for them. They said they don't know. We know. We know what it's going to be. And we're ranking them by what's most likely and stuff like that. I was getting to that, man. I was getting to that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We're ranking by what's most likely and all that stuff and whatnot. But before that, you can support this channel by going to youtube.com/watchredirect, twitch.tv/watchredirect for $4.99. It'd be for your money or Jeff Bezos' money if you have an Amazon Prime account like everybody on this planet does or maybe should. It's pretty convenient. You link it to your Twitch account and get a Prime Gaming sub every single month. All you got to do is remember to renew it. That's all that Bezos asks of you in this scenario. In exchange for that, you get loyalty badges, free Switch keys from time to time, access to supporters only Discord, where we record this show live. You get to watch the video, you get to contribute in the chat. It's good old fun time. You can look at all the other perks that you get depending on how much you contribute on Twitch or on YouTube. If you do the $4 through $32 equivalent, the closest thing to that on those platforms, you get what you get on Patreon. Go on Patreon and you see what the stuff is. The only thing you don't get if you go to Patreon specifically is the emotes, which is why getting it on Patreon is actually a little bit cheaper because we can't give you emotes. So try to meet in the middle a little bit. But anyways, let's just jump into the stuff and the things.
That's right. So we've got a tier list of Nintendo franchises. And the idea is, that since there are going to be more Nintendo movies, probably beyond just Mario, which ones would make for good movies, or I also want to throw TV shows in there. I don't really know how to represent that best on here, but we'll figure that out. I was starting to rename some of these, but I didn't. So, yeah. Are you sharing my screen? I can't see that it's
I'm
on
sharing
that.
it right now.
There it is. Perfect. So yeah, here we go. First of all, do we want to rename these to specific things?
Yes, I have ideas, but give me a
cool,
second.
perfect.
I'm trying to get out of studio mode. There we go. I'm out of studio mode, and this is not true where we're at. There we go. Okay.
Perfect.
So what I think is we do, we rank them like this. We do like a $1 billion movie, S tier.
Oh, yeah.
We do successful movie in the A tier. B tier be like a TV series. And then like the other tiers being like digital only or not digital only because like it shows but like YouTube series or something, and then F being like bad, terrible, don't even attempt.
Don't push it, I'm gonna say. Yeah, all right, well, here we go. I guess we can just go alphabetically, or actually let's just go back and forth and just pick. So like you go first and then pick one that you want to talk about, and then we'll do that, and then so that it's not just like going through alphabetical, because that's a little more boring.
I mean, I feel like we could just go down the list.
I mean,
going down the list works.
All right, well, Advance Wars then.
Advance Wars, I think probably no. Maybe YouTube series, maybe.
I was thinking, I mean, I could even see TV series
in that, like
in an anime kind of a thing. I mean, maybe not big enough, but it could like make sense as one or whatever. You know what I mean? And
see, the thing is, like, I think all of these could in theory, but I'm trying to balance like what would make sense, not only in terms of like what would be the most successful, but what would they even pursue? You know, like, I don't know if they're trying to revive Advance Wars. You know what I mean? Like, obviously we have the reboot camp, but I feel like the reboot camp is them trying to gauge if they even care to like do new ones. It's not really.
I mean, I guess good question is for this, like, are we going for what like could be a cool conceptual thing in terms of, you know, whatever, or is it more just like actual kind of in the realm of likelihood?
I think somewhere in between all sort of that, because I think all of these, if we're just going based off of what could be cool, I think we could like, and that's like, it's kind of our thing to be able to like look at all of these series and figure out a way to make it cool. So that's why it's like, just to be able to use the wide spectrum of all of the tiers that we have here, we got to be a little discerning in that regard too, in my opinion.
This is true. Yep. No, I feel that for sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I agreed. Advanced Wars, I'd put it, somewhere in that case between the lowest ones, but maybe right.
I'd put it like YouTube series. I could see them do like a, you know, like what Sonic does with like the Sonic team racing thing that they did, or like when Mania came out, like something like that to like promote reboot camp. I could have saw them doing, you know, or if they do like a new game on the level of like a Dread or something like that, I could see them promoting it like that rather than rather than doing like a full on like Netflix series, you know.
Makes sense. Next up then is Animal Crossing.
$1 billion movie.
I could see it in that. I'm gonna put it up there for now. I would argue almost successful movie for that one, and not quite $1 billion movie, even though franchise huge, obviously, like it's got tons of appeal on that front. But there is something to be said for the fact that like, or maybe I would make a case for the fact that there's so many different villagers that like, if, you know, and people have their favorites and stuff like that, like it's the like icon part of it is more kind of spread thin across like the whole franchise and that kind of a thing. And I don't know, like in story
what
wise,
I would say is like there's a few that are like super well defined icons, and those are the ones that like you have to, you know, include Isabelle,
KK,
you have to include
Tom Nook.
Exactly, like those are the ones that they gotta like touch on, and everything else is we're in the same kind of territory that we're in with Mario, where there's a character like Yoshi's not like in TM the Mario movie, you know, like they there's like cameos and stuff like that, but he's not there. Rosalena's not there, Pauline's not there. There's a lot, or Pauline again, cameo situation. But yeah, like there's a lot of characters that are not like either represented at all or like fully represented, and that's what future movies are for. I think with Animal Crossing, it's less about character and more about the IP. Like I don't think that a lot of people know Animal Crossing in the same way that they know Mario and can name multiple Mario characters, but they know what Animal Crossing is, and they're like the iconography from that series is strong enough for them to be able to like craft something that people will go to see because of that, like the Animal Crossing name recognition. And secondarily to that, or maybe primarily, arguably, is it's similar to Mario in the sense that like they're not confined to having to retell anything. Like they can just make whatever story they want. And make a compelling, like they can make new compelling characters from Animal Crossing, and they would fit in because people don't have like this super stringent overall anyway, this super stringent idea of like what characters should and shouldn't be there beyond those obvious picks of like Isabelle, Tom Nook, Timmy and Tommy, so on and so forth.
I think this one, interestingly, would probably be most successful as a TV series because it can like go into multiple different facets or whatever like that. But yeah, I'm fine to leave it in the $1 billion movie because obviously as a franchise, it's like, it's an S tier franchise, makes all the money and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It's just it's an interesting thing that exists, like a phenomenon, but interesting to see. Next up then is Bayonetta.
TV series. I mean, it already is one.
In what way? There's a TV
anime.
series?
There's anime.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Huh, yeah. I mean, especially with it being as like story heavy and stuff as it is, like, yeah. Donkey Kong. Oh, I mean,
either one of
somewhere between the top two. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like, I mean, if it weren't for his inclusion in the Mario movie, I think I would have put it in successful.
Yeah.
But I think now having that as a launch pad for it is like kind of a shoe-in for at least close to $1 billion movie kind of success. So yeah. Dr. Mario YouTube series. It could be a kind of fun little YouTube series, but
YouTube series, or I could see just based off like if it's like a spin-off of like the Mario movie universe, Mario, I could see it being like a Netflix thing, you know, or HBO Max or Nintendo's own thing or whatever they want to make it, right? I could see that too. Yeah, either one of those two.
Yep, I'm gonna say YouTube series just for something, but yeah, I can see that. Fire Emblem TV series.
Yeah, TV series.
Like I don't know that I could. I'm trying to think. Fire Emblem movie, like.
I mean, I could see the thing is here's the other part of this, right?
Yes.
Like the question is this like a cinematic universe kind of situation, or is it like thinking about it as singular movies? Because I think
insular
if they're thinking cinematic universe, it has to be a movie. And I think
exactly.
At that point it would be like successful movie. But at the same time, if we're looking at cinematic universes as like it exists now with like Marvels, I could see it starting as a TV series and then later maybe becoming a movie. So like TV series,
or even just like it shows up in the crossovers with, and people are just like, man, hopefully you know who that is or whatever. No, I mean, to set baseline, I feel like we can just assume some amount of cinematic universe, at least, if not, you know, in a Marvel kind of direction where like, you know, what's it called? The like What If, for example, is in the cinematic universe, even though it's like animated and different. It's not like they're not all, you know, exactly the same.
They don't look exactly. Yeah. Yep.
So there you go. F-Zero. I mean, this was a TV series. So
yeah. TV series, I would say.
Yeah.
TV series, or like if we're not considering the fact that it already was a TV series, I mean, I feel like it did pretty well. I would put it in YouTube, but again, that depends on their plans for F-Zero more because I think that they could make a really successful, not $1 billion. This is one of those series that like it is entirely dependent on how successful everything else is around it and how connected it is to that. It on its own merits is never gonna become $1 billion movie.
Watch them make like a Fast and Furious F-Zero situation,
and it's like the most successful thing they've ever done. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, we counted. There's a new ad for or a trailer for the new Fast and Furious movie that played before the Mario movie. And they said the word family in that trailer in the trailer 7 times, which is just nuts. Like, that's 2 minutes. And for them to say, like, nothing's more important than family, or like, I'm going to destroy your family.
Yo,
and every time there's like a little
word.
pause of like, goodness gracious, you guys.
Word.
They know what they're doing, you know?
They do know what they're doing.
So yeah. Contentious one up next, Golden Sun.
Come on.
We're going to be honest.
Come on.
Yeah.
YouTube
No, it's,
series.
I mean, again, it's one of those where like, or they could, you know, they could make a cool TV series out of it. Not, I couldn't see a movie happen, but like it could be a cool anime kind of thing. But like, as far as if we're going for the advanced wars kind of logic, it's YouTube series. And that's about it, but it would be great in anime and stuff. Kid Icarus.
I could see TV at least. I could almost see successful movie. Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. I could see successful movie.
I'm gonna put it there, but you know,
I'm down.
Yeah, it could happen. Sales wise, interestingly enough, I think like historically, Golden Sun has a better sales record than Kid Icarus
for sure.
Ironically, but as far as like, I don't know, just possibility kind of thing.
I think that Kid Icarus has more cachet, and especially like now, like, I forgot. Like, did we ever get I remember that this whole question came up before, but how much did Kid Icarus Uprising sell? Like, did it ever get to 1 million?
No. I think it was
like 750,000 or something like that, or was it?
I kind of felt like it was less than that, but
because the last time I saw it, and this was back when I played it, was at like 250,000. But I felt like it like went up.
That was kind of the number. Okay, no, never mind. Since release, Uprising sold over 1 million copies worldwide.
Okay, there we go. So I mean,
okay.
I don't know. I think that this is one of those situations, though, where like Kid Icarus, I would say, has overall like more clout, but it's a Smash Brothers thing. It's like in the same way that Captain Falcon has more clout.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kirby.
I don't know that I'd say $1 billion.
I wouldn't say billion.
I'd say successful.
I would say top is successful right now with what's there.
Yeah, there it is. I thought about a thing, but it's going to be mentioned later. So here we go. Luigi's Mansion,
$1 billion movie.
Yep,
over Donkey Kong.
Over Donkey Kong, agreed. I think this one is just actually going to. Honestly, I would say over Animal Crossing, but I think
maybe.
I mean,
depends on execution. I think of Animal Crossing specifically, but yeah,
yes, agreed. I think this one's just going to happen.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I mean, I've said it's not really spoiler, but Luigi was just barely in this movie a little bit less than I would have expected. And like not by a lot, but just by just enough that I'm like, I feel like they're saving him for like even more, prominence later. So Luigi's Mansion. Okay, this one, I don't know how we do this. Mario and Luigi as like an RPG series kind of thing.
I don't think they
maybe
would
just don't even include it, really.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that they would do that.
Yeah. I mean, like the best I could see is this is like little, almost like YouTube shorts from the movie kind of a thing, Right. I agree. So, yeah. Mario Kart, that's already kind of included in. I'm just going to put it in ignore. Just because, I mean, really, it's up at the top. Like that was in the Mario movie.
Right.
So, whatever. I'll put it up there too. Mario Party, kind of irrelevant too.
Yeah, I will put that one at the bottom.
Yeah.
Either that or YouTube series.
Sure. Just them having a good old time.
Yeah.
Playing some games. Super Mario, I just put at the top because it happened and we're there.
Right.
So
maybe we could, I mean, we don't have to do it right now, but maybe depending on how big that tier gets, we just put that in its own tier. Already $1 billion movie.
Yeah. Metroid.
Successful movie.
Agreed. Honestly, I'd say above Kirby.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, this is definitely like a source material using that to make something better. It's Iron Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Metroid is the Iron Man of Nintendo.
So here's the
right
question. Now that, because people have talked about people doing a Metroid movie and that kind of thing for a long time, but then now also we're in the world where the Mario movies happened as it is, Illumination, blah, 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 blah. Would you rather a well done, like imagining it's like, Marvel level-ish, whatever, live action Metroid movie, or a really well done animated Metroid movie?
It depends on what it is, like it depends on what their overall plans are. Like if their overall plans are like Smash Brothers Endgame, like animated. But if ultimately what they rather do is make like one-off movies and stuff like that, I think live action's fine.
Yeah.
I think live action might even do better.
I think it would probably
if they do it well. But in the instant, like I think the best case scenario for them success wise is emulating like some sort of cinematic universe situation, and for that reason, I think that animated would be better. But for Metroid, the brand, live action makes more sense in a vacuum.
Because how many? I mean, if we look at like top grossing animated movies,
I think
how
Super
many,
Mario's
if
literally
any of
the
these,
top grossing one now, isn't it?
It's not yet. So Lion King is at 1.6 million, and that's a billion. Sorry, and that's
It's a ways.
It's got a little ways to go. But I mean, for what it's worth, though, it's a pretty short list as far as like Lion King's at 1.6, Frozen 2's at 1.45, Frozen's at 1.3. But then like in the billions, there's not like the top 10 are all over a billion, and some of them are within like $3 million of each other, kind of a thing. So like Mario, as soon as basically after this weekend, it's gonna be in the like top 5, and then it's a question of just like where it shows up in there.
Right.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff. So, but the question I have is how many, if any, of these top grossing animated movies are kind of serious, like because a Metroid movie would have a serious tone,
right?
And these are all kids movies. Like there's not a single one of these that I'm seeing that.
I think Metro would ultimately be Star Wars. Like Star Wars is a kids movie.
Yeah, I could see that. But that crossed over with the animation world would be just an interesting kind. Honestly, I mean, maybe in a really good way, it would be kind of a new thing for like blockbuster animated movies to be of a more serious tone or whatever, But yeah, you could still throw jokes in there and stuff like that, but it would just be interesting.
Yep.
So, yeah, Metroid. Mother. I mean,
again,
if we're being
depends
honest,
on overall plans, but
very
YouTube
true.
Series,
YouTube series at best, maybe the bottom, but no shade on it, but like, just
bottom. I would definitely put it over Golden Sun.
I mean, when I think of tier lists, I don't really think in the order of these.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, for some reason we have Mother again, so I'm just gonna leave it there, but at the back. Oh, also just because it's out of alphabetical order, I'm gonna put Arms right here. Arms.
YouTube series. I mean, it depends. Again, it depends on what their plans are. I could see like just given the characters that are in in Arms, they could do a TV series.
A cool TV series. Yeah. I'm going to put it there just because
I put it over F-Zero. I put Arms over F-Zero TV series.
Yep. All right. Paper Mario. I'm just going to put it with Mario and Luigi for context reasons.
Yeah.
That like what even is that in this context? Pikmin TV series.
Yeah. TV series. I agree.
Over Arms.
Maybe low movie. But yeah, I mean, I would put it over.
We don't really have
I was going to say we
don't really have a category for like not successful or like moderately
See, the thing is, like, if they're going to make a
thing.
movie, I think it'll be a successful movie. That's why
I think,
didn't
exactly.
suggest that. But
Pokemon, honestly, like
movie.
way bottom. Like nobody's going to even
$1 billion movie.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is just, again, like, and what do you think that would look like to be? Because there have been plenty of Pokemon movies and none of them have made $1 billion. So, like, what's the formula for a Pokemon movie to make $1 billion? Is it
to make them feel as big as the Mario movie does, and for it to be within the universe and with the logic and like story beats that people have grown to be accustomed to, like the Pokemon
Trainer's
movie,
Journey kind of thing.
Mewtwo, the Pokemon movie Mewtwo Strikes Back. That's not a Pokemon movie. That's an Ash movie. You know, Detective Pikachu is not a Pokemon movie. It's a Detective Pikachu movie. But if they make a Pokemon movie about like a unrelated, like, or even just make it related to the games themselves, make it Red, or just a new trainer that's like some like young star that people really like a lot, and like create a new character around them, and have them go through the trainer's journey, be it Kanto or whatever the newest region at the time is. Like, I think that is the formula for a successful Pokemon movie, personally.
I mean, and for what it's worth too, like, it might be kind of weird in this context, but that at this point, I mean, again, looking at the top grossing animated movies outside of the Lion King remake, which should that really count? I don't think so, because it's fully CGI, but like, it's not, I don't know, it doesn't feel like an animated movie, but that's besides the point. So outside of that, everything is like Pixar style, you know?
Right.
So I think that's an interesting thing, that like Pokemon, for all the things that it's done before, it has definitely stayed in kind of the anime art style world, or it kind of tried with the like remake of Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Right.
That was like
it's like a
weird kind of like the Dragon Quest movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know what that was about specifically, but like, and also then we saw the live action one, which, you know, Detective Pikachu was great.
Yeah. And I think that's like Detective Pikachu is the most successful Pokemon movie by far, because it is closer to a style that people see on like a TV commercial. And by people, I'm talking about like average Joe Schmo, not video gamer for their whole life, that wanted to see a video game movie. You know, like they see that and they're like, oh, cool, that's something that I would watch on my everyday like trip to the movie theater, versus like an anime. They're kind of like, they've been fighting this fight to be like, we could be successful too, and they're getting there, you know, like I think 2021 or maybe it was 2020, one of those 2 years, one of, if not the most successful movie that year was an anime movie. It was a Demon Slayer movie, or the Demon Slayer movie. It made like $500 million or something crazy like that.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, crazy for an anime movie, but
right, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing, Pokemon. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, it can be done, but they're doing work for the medium that they don't need to do if they just made like an approachable movie with a brand that people already love a lot, you know?
Yep. And I think there is something to be said for, like, at this point, Pokemon as is has been going for so long that, like, a lot of people, when they see, you know, a Pokemon movie with its art style and stuff like that, kind of probably tune out a little bit if they're not already interested in it, because it's a known quantity. So that's why, again, Detective Pikachu was like a brand new thing,
because it's
and,
like,
you know,
people have very specific like you know, like a thought association with with that style. Like people of like in our age group, and like people that grew up with Pokemon got to a certain point growing up, for the most part, where they're like, I'm too old for the anime, I'm not watching it anymore. So when new anime movies come out, it's like, I'm not watching that, I stopped watching the anime, I'm not watching it anymore.
Or just like, I'm behind by enough that like
Yeah.
why would I care about this one instead? Yeah, exactly.
But if you hit it with a fresh start, it's a style that's more akin to the like nerd culture movies that have seen great success. I think that it has a better chance of succeeding in the same way that they did and do.
Yep. Agreed. So yeah, there you go. Pokemon. Next up is Punch Out.
YouTube series. But maybe, I mean,
honestly, I would say TV series at least. Like, it's just, you know, it's a pretty.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think it has the like IP recognition for a movie.
Right, yeah.
But they could totally make. I mean, it's Rocky, you know, like, but so I'd say like upper end of TV series. But like in theory, if they wanted to risk it, I could see them making a pretty compelling movie with that. And like, how many animated boxing movies even are there? You know, so that's
I don't know if there's any. Kangaroo Jack
maybe.
Count. It's not animated all the way, but he is.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, Rhythm Heaven
YouTube series, if that.
I'm gonna put it at the bottom.
Yeah.
No shade on Rhythm Heaven, but like TV series wise,
what even?
I just don't even see it. Yeah. I don't know. I was like, what is this one? There's some invisible one right here because it's white on white, and it's Smash, and I'm putting it. I'm gonna put it over Super Mario, even though I don't know. I could see this be a thing where Mario in and of itself still kind of supersedes it, but also could see that not. So.
I mean, you saw spoilers for everybody else, which I don't know how much spoilers if you're a patron. Like the video might even
that's
be
true.
Up,
it might be out
or close to being up today. Making a video about this. I don't know if Mario will be the most successful video game movie for that long, to be honest.
And like I don't think this one. But I think like sequels of it, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a sequel, but even then, I don't know. Like, unless they drop the ball going forward, I think that there can and probably will be a video game movie that's more successful than Mario. But that's just my guess.
Yep. Yeah. I can see it. So yeah, Smash, obviously right up there. And like, hopefully, again, this is what everything's kind of building towards. You know, not to put too many eggs in a singular basket, but
right
there it is. Splatoon,
successful movie.
Yeah, I agree. Like, even though the IP itself is bigger than like game wise than Donkey Kong,
it's mostly
even Luigi's Mansion. I think successful.
It's really big in Japan is the thing, and I don't think that they're as ravenous with the box office, you know. So I think that like it'll do well here. It'll have like the like they can make a good compelling movie out of that IP. And it does have brand recognition here. It just doesn't have as much brand recognition as the other things that are above it in this market and even like in Europe. Like again, it sells fine and here. Like there's a good as if we're talking about the full series, like 10-15 million units accounted for from here, but as far as per capita, we do not like this series as a country as much as Japan. Like anywhere near.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like it has a lot stronger of a style and identity and stuff than Mario, and in some ways that's good because it's cool and stuff, but in other ways like that also hurts it some where like if somebody doesn't really like that very much, then they're less likely to want to go to it or kind of be like feel on the outskirts, whereas with Mario there's just no like worst case scenario somebody goes and is like bored at worst, or like, you know, like there's nothing that's going to make them feel confused by being there. Whereas I could kind of see like older person watching it, not having any, being like, what is this even? You know? So, but then other people would love it. So yeah, I agreed. Successful movie.
They just got to make WALL-E. There's the Splatoon movie right there.
There you go. All right. Star Fox.
Successful movie, but potential for $1 billion. Depending on how good the movie is.
think it's just got like the characters are really, I mean, they're like ripe for it, you know? So if it's done well and feels standalone enough and stuff, then I feel like it could be up to $1 billion movie. But yeah, otherwise I'd say just successful is good enough. The legendary Starfy.
Yeah.
At the bottom. Again, not because like, I don't know, maybe something cool could happen with that, but like, come on.
Yeah.
When was the last time we got a legendary Starfy game? I'm pretty sure that the studio that made it also is like,
is it not an EPD thing?
I don't think so. I remember looking this up sometime recently. Tosei is the developer. And let's see, what's the last thing that they're still doing stuff. Oh, they made Scarlet Nexus and Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. What on earth?
Read them.
Goodness gracious. I mean, co-developed with the other people, but yeah, that's so interesting. They helped with Splatoon 2, with Paper Mario: The Origami King, WarioWare, other stuff. So
nice. I
don't know. They're just not.
They just don't care about Starfy anymore. So like,
yeah, apparently not.
Clearly, it's
out of there. WarioWare. There's no Wario Land or whatever on this list, so I guess we could kind of stand in for that. But like a Wario series, something.
I'd say TV series.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I mean, it's tangential enough, especially to Mario, that like, you know, that gives it some clout right off the bat.
Yep.
Xenoblade Chronicles. Definitely TV series.
Yeah.
I mean, not like definitely going to happen, but like success wise would be fine as a TV series.
Yeah.
Maybe best as TV series.
I think the best they can do is TV series right now. Currently.
Yeah. I'm going to do that ish. All right. We've got two more.
I don't know if I'm putting it over Pikmin. I don't know if I'll put it over Fire.
Right.
Maybe. Yeah. Right above Arms. Maybe.
Works for me. We got two left. Yoshi.
Depends. Depends. Depends.
Yeah.
Because they could do like Yoshi's Island and like this is how this actually does fit in, you know? No spoilers. But if they don't do something like that, I don't know if I'm trying to watch a whole movie with just Yoshi. You know what I mean?
I know. I think he will be obviously just like a really important companion character kind of a thing for Mario. And so he'll be like take part in the $1 billion movie situation.
Yep.
But yeah, I think as a standalone thing,
like maybe
TV series.
Yeah, like TV series. I could see successful movie like as a result of that. Like he's Ant-Man, you know? Like,
right. Yeah, that was kind of the example I was thinking of too.
But
yeah, I'm gonna say TV series around
TV
Pikmin
series
level,
is more
just
realistic. Yep.
$1
billion movie.
Because like obviously Yoshi is more successful or recognizable or whatever than Punch Out. But Punch Out, like
there's more potential there to make a good movie.
Yep. And more accessible and all that kind of stuff. Blah blah blah. As far as like good things to happen. The Legend of
$1 billion movie.
$1 billion movie. Yeah, I mean, put it
right
somewhere
under
towards the
Pokemon.
top. Yeah. You know, I'm gonna put Mario Kart just out here just for for the same reason.
I mean, we can make another
like,
tier for that. We can like name it like redundant or unnecessary or something like that.
I mean, I could just also just do this. Just leave them out here. Oh, there was something else. Oh, his mother that I left out there on purpose.
Okay. That works.
And then take a picture of this thingy. Yeah, Legend of Zelda. I mean, at this point, still like, I mean, yeah, I think more and more I'm leaning towards, maybe not leaning toward. I mean, I think always wanted it to be animated in some way. But I would love for it to be a little bit more like anime kind of style, but I also would be happy to sacrifice that for the greater good of the connected universe. So
Yeah.
I think it would be fine.
I don't think them making these things precludes them from making other things with these IP.
Totally.
And I think that Zelda is one of the ones that they would do. Like, if they made a Pokemon movie, or the fact that they did make multiple Pokemon movies and Detective Pikachu and stuff, the Pokemon anime still exists, you know?
Yeah, right.
So, like, I could see them, like, do the, like, Spider-Man freshman class or whatever, or freshman year, and then also still do No Way Home or whatever, right? So...
Yeah, agreed. I think that's Zelda is one that I would especially love to see exactly that happen with. Like have in the same way that there's 3D Zeldas and 2D Zeldas and like there's been, you know, a good number of spin-offs and stuff like that. So like that take the same approach with transmedia properties and whatnot.
Yep.
Cool.
On the topic of all this stuff with the Mario movie and stuff like that, we're going to do a spoiler cast for the Patreon podcast. Support at the $4 level for the podcast, or subscribe on Twitch or YouTube, and you can hear that when it goes live.
Yeah. And so there you go. And speaking of Zelda, we had some Zelda previews for Tears of the Kingdom came out this week, and I'm mostly trying to avoid them. I'm like dipping my toes in certain things. I think what I'm really trying to avoid is seeing things. But like I read Gene Park of the Washington Post. He had a preview. And so I read his article. And I listened to a little bit of a couple YouTube videos, but then as soon as they'd say some word that I was like, that's more than I want to know, then I just turn it off. And so sorry about your analytics, guys, but you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, long story short, sounds like everybody
hates it. It's the worst game. It's a shameful follow up to a great game, you know, like
what a
it turns
time.
out that the people that were trepidatious about the follow up were right. The game's bad now.
It is funny though. I saw I watched a video of a like Zelda YouTuber-y kind of guy that was talking about since after the trailer, everybody who was worried about it kind of shut up and they were like, going to be great. It's going to be awesome. And then the previews happened. And then suddenly a bunch of people were nervous about it again, which I wasn't aware of that side of the internet, but just like a lot of his comments that basically, and here I'll give my thoughts on this too, is that basically they're like, I don't like how much of the game is like sandboxy building stuff and like how much focus there is on all of that, which like on one hand I get, but I think an important like context for previews, people who'd be sharing about their experiences playing a game, is that the things that you're going to share about are going to be emergent gameplay and interesting takeaway and like things where you feel smart and cool and blah, blah, blah. And so it's like when there's tools that you can do interesting things with, that's going to be the thing that you have the strongest memories for. So like, even if that wasn't where they technically spent most of their time, or even if they didn't have to get involved with it at all, like that is the thing that's going to be talked about. You know what I mean? So like, I think, just play the game because it's going to be great and don't even worry about that. Because I'm sure you could avoid some of those things if you really wanted to. Like just lets you play it however you want to play.
I think it's very similar. I mean, people didn't, to my knowledge, like especially in mass, complain about like the more like creative solutions for Breath of the Wild before that game came out, and they focused a lot on stuff like that when they were marketed in like the treehouse segments and stuff like that. And people play. There's a lot of people even within this community, like Sardi for instance, that just played it like it was a regular as RPG. I mean, like open world, you know, like Zelda game. Didn't even look at the more like chemistry engine like centered stuff and stuff like that. So I'm sure that you can play it more straightforward if you really want to, but the previews are going to highlight the things for most people that don't just want to play the game straightforward, because you don't have to.
Yep. I mean, and likewise, I think that like Animal Crossing as an example, the moments that we saw happen on Twitter or whatever are people that did like crazy cool creations where like they, you know, revamped their whole island to look like
Japan.
Yeah, exactly. Like that kind of thing. They do crazy stuff. But like the majority of people are my sister-in-law who plays every single day for just like an hour a day and just checks in on her villagers and has a nice little time. And that's the kind of experience you can have. You know what I mean? Like, but like the things you'll hear about for sure are going to be those like crazy things or whatever. But so it's, I think all that to say that like, you know, I think
stop looking for stuff to complain about.
Have to be that. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, I'm excited, and it's this newest trailer. Honestly, too, I was talking to Mitch, and he was saying that before this trailer, he was like he was gonna get the game and was like in theory, you know, looking forward to it. Watched the trailer and was like, oh no, I'm like really excited about this game. And then my friend Nate that I've mentioned, and I mentioned in a video that I'm working on too, he similarly, he was like, yeah, I just haven't really been playing any games anymore. And, you know, kind of just fallen off of stuff. I play Rocket League some, but that's about it. And I was like, I'm going to send you the trailer for the game. And I sent it to him and he was like, I think I might take a day off work. I was like, yeah. So, you know, it's just a fun time. And I did take a day off work. So, oh yeah, we'll figure stuff out. I'm going to do like a midnight-y kind of thing. I think Mitch is going to come over and we're going to play it at 11 p.m. and it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. And that's all. I think about it more often than I should.
W.
So yeah. And, you know, Nintendo wants us to be thinking about things just like they'll want us to think about things when they go to Gamescom. That's the connection.
Yep.
Whatever. They're going to Gamescom for the first time in 4 years, which
the last time was like with Super Mario
pre-COVID,
Party.
I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
I think that was the last thing that they brought, or at least the last thing I remember them.
Last thing was 2019. I want to say Super Mario Party was 2018. So I don't even. To be honest, I don't feel like I remember barely anything in their 2019. Oh, I think Daemon X Machina, like way too much Daemon X Machina. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That might have been. I want to say it was 2019 for Daemon X Machina because it was in the 2018 E3 that we saw it, which was the Smash one, and then it took longer than I expected for it to come out. Could be wrong about that. Oh, and like Link's Awakening and stuff was also then. But
yeah, true. Link's Awakening. I do remember Link's Awakening.
This will be fun because I feel like, you know, we haven't had just normal treehouse kind of stuff, like the kinds that we've had at E3 and Gamescom in the past in a long time.
Isn't that like August
normally?
What even would they bring in August? Is it new stuff?
I mean, TBD. That's the thing. I don't even
like. I guess they could, depending on how far along it is. Like that. Like that's kind of close.
That's post Pikmin.
Yes, after Pikmin. It's after obviously Tears of the Kingdom. Like
yeah, right.
So like all the like bigger stuff that we know about at least is already here. So like, what
options
are
they aren't bring. Okay, here's all the options as I can see them. Number one is they haven't announced any. I'd be surprised by this, but that they haven't announced anything new for the rest of the year past Pikmin, and that all they bring is demos for games that are out, and it's just selling people on the Switch as is kind of a thing. I'd be very surprised by that.
It's not really something that they generally do. Except for when it's like a console is coming out. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe the Nintendo swap is going to be at Gamescom, and they're going to reveal it there for the first time ever.
I mean, for what it's worth, something along those lines is also one of the possibilities, but also not one that I think is very likely. I think, and then the most likely is just that they do announce, whether in a direct or just like, Twitter wise or whatever, after Tears of the Kingdom comes out in June or whatever, announce a couple games or something like that to come out later in the year.
If they still do like a summer thing, like in lieu of E3.
Even if it's third-party games. Like at this point, like, I feel like we're in the Wild West in some ways, as far as like, I don't know what to expect for the foreseeable future past Pikmin.
I felt like that since 2020. Like the way that they have been, like the way that 2020 went, as far as like how they announced their games, like completely like ignoring the pandemic and in this regard. 2020 changed how they market their games. Like whether it directly has anything to do with how development was impacted, they don't market their games the same way. They're not as like far ahead with it seems, as they have been before. And that's why like stuff like Tears of the Kingdom, like they were really far ahead, obviously, with like revealing that game. And then they stopped talking about it entirely. Like, so I think that they either like they're being more safe now, in terms of like, we don't want to announce delays and do a Metroid Prime 4 situation over and over again, or like they maybe COVID impacted them a lot and they're still feeling the after effects of that, and are trying to like still market in that kind of way because of that. Or somewhere in between. I don't know, but I do know that their marketing is different, and it has been different since 2020.
Yeah. Honestly, a thought too, based off of that, is like, if the next Nintendo Direct that we get, well, depending on what things happen, but I could see that the next Nintendo Direct that we get would be like classified as one of the best Nintendo Directs, quote unquote, only because, assuming they have the same amount of first party stuff in that one that they usually do, say it's 3 games or 4 games or whatever, that are first party things of some sort, all of them would be new.
Yeah, there would be stuff that people have no idea or had no idea about and like expected not to happen. Because that was the discourse all of this year, is that like Tears of the Kingdom is their last game. 2023. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like so. Yeah,
it'd be interesting. But again, I have none expectations at this point. I'm ready to just play Tears of the Kingdom all the livelong day, and then we'll see.
I said,
past that.
I've been like that since Smash, where I'm like, hey, I got everything that I need on here. Everything else is a bonus for me.
Yep. No, man, I feel that. Just with backlog and stuff anyway, too. Like, that's, if you don't have games that you could be playing,
you're lying.
Then you're just not looking hard enough.
Yeah, if you don't have games to play, you're lying.
So, yeah. And yeah, that's, I guess for what it's worth, quickly to note, as far as next gen stuff goes, is that there was a job listing from Nintendo for like people to work on next gen. Here, I'm just going to read it real quick. The goal of this position will be to aim for and go beyond state-of-the-art solutions in these fields, targeting current and next-generation Nintendo platforms. It will be necessary to collaborate with game developers to bring new technologies to the market. And this is a job posting for somebody to work on the technology side for next-gen consoles and stuff. So it's, it's starting to be in the conversation, at least in the public. So Megman said, where do I sign up? Yeah, send your email to 123 Nintendo. No. TBD. We'll see. It's the Wild West. And, so you can be playing whatever games you want to, but we're playing these games.
True.
What are you playing?
I'm playing Pokemon because the draft league, I had a devastating outcome for my Week 2 match, which, like, honestly expected. So like when we like went into this and I was like, we need to see this event. One of the people that I invited to join, his name is Big Slim World on Twitch. He's a Twitch streamer. He's a Capcom creator like me. He's also partnered with, I think, Ubisoft. But before any of that stuff, he's a VGC guy. Like that was his whole thing. That's why he has the audience that he has, is because he's a Pokemon VGC guy. So I was like, no, you need to seed him one. He is better than me at this game for sure. And he was the one person out of all of the people that are a part of this that I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like I'm going to lose. And that's exactly what happened. I got freaking wiped, man. I went in expecting him to do a specific thing, because the Pokemon that he has, there's like established strats, but there's like 2 ways for him to do it, so it's like it's a coin flip. It's like I was like, is he going to do the more aggressive route of doing this strat, or is he going to do the more passive route? I bet on the passive route. He did the aggressive route, and I got blown up for guessing wrong, basically. But it's a really good strat. He has a good team. Yeah, I'm scared for all of his opponents going forward, because like and that's also the crazy part about it, right? Like everybody else, we had matches, but he had a bye week 1. So not only did I already have this like sneaking suspicion that he's going to be insane, but also on top of that, we didn't even get to gauge what he's thinking and doing with this team at all, because he didn't battle week 1. So it's like, well. Rip. There
you go.
But the good news is there's a little bit more bad news. My next week is a bye, which I hate. Lee's like, you get a break, but I'm like, I don't want to break, especially after losing. I'm trying to get a W right now. But for everybody else, like, it is like, man, I'm scared for y'all. But the good news for me is like, I feel confident going into everybody else. I'm not really scared of anybody else. I was scared of Slim. I was like, Slim's going to destroy me. Everybody else, I think that it'll either be like a close match or I'm going to win. But I feel like I'm going to win. Like, there's not really anybody left that I don't feel like I have a good grasp on.
Mega Man claims that you're scared of him too. So just
Mega Man is convinced that I'm scared of him, but I'm gonna tell him, like I told him multiple times, and everybody here, Mega Man is the person that I am the most confident against, the most.
Are you doing these on stream then for the most part, or not on stream?
Yep. The only so the match times and all that stuff is like dependent on when it works for everybody. Like, so I guess it will depend on my opponent, but I am aiming to stream all of my matches.
Nice. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm excited to hear how all that goes. Because that's fun. I like it. Mitch listened to last week's episode, or 2 weeks ago. Oh yeah, sorry we didn't have an episode last week. I was fine in the end, but there was a little bit of like an appendicitis scare kind of thing, and that was a weird thing. And it was like, I wasn't feeling like the worst, but it was like a pretty specific thing where it's like, if this is appendicitis, I need to catch it now before I die. But if it's not, then it's like not too bad. And then so just a weird little situation, but all good now. So that's why we didn't have an episode. Sorry about that. But in any case, he was telling me he listened to the episode and that he thought in any case, the Pokemon Draft League thing was just a really fun idea, and that he was excited to hear more about that as well. So
it's been fun.
Nice. Yeah. Fun indeed. Real quick. So I played, I tweeted this a couple days ago, but I played just like a couple minutes of, I don't know, like 15 minutes or so of Kirby and the Forgotten Land again. Just started up a new save file because my other one's 100% complete. So, I had to start a new one. That was just a little bit of a brag. No, it's not a brag. It's just that's how good the game is. And this was just a reminder of just how good the game is. This is the thing I was starting to almost half say when we were doing the tier list earlier. And I was like, whatever, I'll talk about it later. But man, like I just wish that every franchise that feels like kind of stale or not
did this.
It just did exactly this, and like, it's not even to say, I mean, we've talked about it before, but there's plenty of places that I could still see it going that would make it even better.
Right.
But just in the same way that the Mario movie feels like it just got all the little things right. And it just, just attention to detail kind of stuff. this feels very much the same, where minute to minute, it's just
feels
fun.
like the best thing is that it got the important big things right, and the little things just add up to that. And I agree. I think that it's like the sort of thing that like we talk about all the time, the Breath of the Wild thing. But like again, people think of that and they think, oh, you just want everything to be open world. It's like, no, you just want everything to be the truest, most up to date version of what they always meant to be. If they made this game in this universe tomorrow, what would be the most exciting game that is like contemporary possible? Yep.
And they did great. So there it is, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And then the last thing, I think, otherwise just Live Alive. I'm playing all things very slowly and very little here and there, but I finally beat, to my understanding, this is the way that it all goes, is there's 7 stories. You beat each of those, and then you'll unlock an 8th story. And then something, they all come together, something. There's more game after that. I don't know any of the details of all of that, but in any case, I beat the 7th story, and then now I'm into this 8th story. And so far, this one is my favorite, and that's good because maybe this is going to be kind of the set piece for everything to come together or whatever. But this one is, it's an RPG, and none of the other ones are medievally, and this one is medieval. I mean, just like regular fantasy, world kind of thing. And man, I'm just a sucker for swords and that kind of thing.
I was talking about
this one has swords and things.
I was talking about this in Thrill House's stream last week, I think. And we were talking about like the podcast and like what he likes about our dynamic and stuff. I was like, we're very different. and it works because like we're very different, and that's fine, and we accept that. So like it could be interesting because people that are more like me, like they're like, oh yeah, I like when he talks about the thing, and people that are more like you, oh, I like when he talks about the thing, and both of those people can shake hands on the fact that we're shaking hands.
Yeah. It's just fun, It's fun to be different. It's fun to accept those things, and it's especially fun to have little swords and hit people with swords.
It's true.
In games, not in real life. So, although I wouldn't mind having a real sword in real life.
I couldn't speak to if it's fun or not.
Technically, when I was 5, I went. My parents wanted us to do some kind of sport, and I was in France at the time, and fencing is a thing there. And so I joined a class, like a fencing class with other 5-year-olds. And like they were actually learning how to do it. I mean, all of us were supposed to. I just wasn't actually learning it. How to do it the right way, and like that you like ding, 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 and then point, and then blah, blah, whatever. And I literally just only ever wanted to just like swish, just like waggle controls with a sword kind of a thing. And they were not thrilled about that. I don't think I did it for more than like a couple of weeks probably. And then I don't know if I was kicked out or whatever, but proceeded to not do it anymore. But it was fun. Swords,
Sounds fun.
So yeah, I think that's everything I'm playing. But what else for you?
What else am I playing? I was going to play the Pokemon Gym Leader thing, but then I played Smash and the Pokemon Gym Leader Castle and Stadium. I was playing that. I played that last week. It's cringe because like the RNG is just worse. So like everything that is like still bad now is just worse than that. So that happened. It's like,
and the rental Pokemon really are like,
so bad.
I never noticed it as a kid, but it's so funny how just like, I mean, I think you pointed this out, but that they balance the Pokemon by making the weakest ones. I mean, the like first forms have the best moves, and then the final forms have like garbage moves, and it's so silly that like it's you like got Charizard and he's got Ember or whatever.
I respect the what they were trying to do there, but the only way that it is possible to balance Pokemon is to nuke it. You have to do it over again. This is not a balanceable battle system. It is not competitive. I promise you. It is too dependent on RNG.
Yep. It's silly.
But yeah, I was going to do that. Didn't do that. Played Smash. That's fun.
Yeah, nice.
I think that's about it. I mean, I'm probably going to grind the Intellion raids. I did one. I got the Intellion. I'm going to see if it's a raid that is annoying to do again. But I did the first one, and I did it with randos, and that's like hard mode. Like, like it's initially a thing that you would think is harder to do by yourself, but it's way easier to do by yourself because the raid boss only does actions when you do actions. So like if I don't attack it and I just like stat boost and stuff like that, it's not gonna like go out of its way to swing at me. It'll at worst like try to lower my stats or whatever and stuff like that. On top of that, the only time that your time gets impacted by death is if you yourself die. So your CPU companions can die all the live long day and it will never matter. Nice. But when you're playing it with randoms, or just people in general, like a lot of times people will be like, oh yeah, you can just carry me through the raid, so I'll just bring whatever Pokemon. And they bring their under-leveled, non-EV trained, non-IV trained Pokemon that is bad against the Pokemon for one reason or another, and all of their deaths take 25% out of the allotted time. So you lose significantly faster. That said, did it. It was pretty easy. All things considered, we'll see if it's as easy and like cheesable as Decidueye was, which was the holy grail so far.
Yeah, makes sense. Fun times. Well, there you go. And now
Mega Man,
Mega
Man, Battle Network. I'm playing that.
Oh yeah. I thought you meant Mega Man the person.
No. I've been playing that. Also, we've been watching it. So Capcom gave me to go ahead to like to co-stream the anime. That was the other thing. That was the reason why I was like, what did I do on Monday? We didn't play anything. We watched the Mega Man anime, Mega Man NT Warrior. And that's been fun. And the game's fun too, but I'm at a part of the game that's annoying. So like the first, I wouldn't say like 70% of this game, there's just been a lot of moments where even the stuff that traditionally annoys me about games like this, like RPGs and like the like Zelda style, like 2D kind of situation, they just did it in a way better way. Like all the puzzles are not like, or most of the puzzles are not these like arbitrarily like fetch questy kind of things. They use the like uniqueness of like the situation that this world is in, where it's like they have this internet world and then there's the outside world and you're partners with the guy in the internet. Like one of the levels, the whole thing was the school like it's being hacked or whatever, to put it in the most basic way possible. And on the outside, you had to go and look for details to help you get the password to get through gates on the inside. So like you would get to a gate and it'll be like, oh, go check how many history books are in the classroom C. So then you go in there and you check how many and then you do that. And then there's like another like form of that puzzle on that level where it's like a number game kind of thing. It's like a higher or lower sort of situation, and you like put in a number and you're like 96, and it's like your second digit's too high, and then you do it thing again, and it'll reset, and it, like if you guess too many times, it'll be like, okay, we're changing the first number, but the second number is still the same. So like just doing stuff like that in a way that it's like it's this puzzle that's not like super either punishing for if you guess it wrong, for like the one that I just said, like it's literally a random number generator. So like for them to like punish you crazy hard for something that they just made up and you have to guess would be bad game design, but they don't. They just change one number and like that's the punishment that they do. There's a lot of stuff like that, but at the same time, the bad thing that it does is when you're in the internet world, everything like all over it's like a Pokemon cave. Everything has random encounters. You have to draw your escape, so the only way you can run is if you draw it, which is stupid. And I hate that. I hear that, I mean, I've played these games as a kid, but I don't remember most of it. In subsequent games, you can run whenever, but it's an RNG thing. It's like, you got away. They didn't let you get away, you know? But in this game, it's guaranteed escape, but you have to draw the chip. Which, again, is stupid and annoying because of the random encounters thing.
Yeah, because I mean, especially I feel like, you know, I mean, that's the way a lot of games were for a long time. But I feel like the punishment for leaving random encounters should be that you're under-leveled for bosses.
Exactly.
And it's just like, you got to deal with it. And maybe you can smart your way out of it in those boss fights, and maybe not.
And the thing about Mega Man is like, the Battle Network specifically, the random encounters don't reward you with experience. You get money and you get like the potential to get chips. So like in a roundabout way, it can help you beat other enemies and stuff like that, because you can buy resources to like up your health and stuff like that. But you don't get experience for every battle. So you just get to this point where you just have a lot of money to do really nothing with, because you just run into a whole bunch of random encounters. I say that to bring up, I think the battle system is not what I want, but like the rationale behind what this battle system is like exactly what I think Pokemon should be. Where the way that you've seen it, right? Like you've seen like how the battle system works.
Vaguely,
So it's like it's 3 rows, and it's like a real time thing where or there's like turns kind of, because like you draw your chips and you're like, I want to pick this one and this combination, and that does that or whatever, right? But it has this balance of like, there's the knowledge check of like which chip is good against this opponent, which chip is the best chip, which chip gives you the range that you want, will put them in a position that makes it easier to hit them, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. But it also has the real-time aspect of like, do you have the reaction time to dodge this thing, can you hit them before they hit you, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. It's like knowledge meets skill, which I think is the best case scenario for a game that is like by its own admission trying to be competitive. It should always be knowledge meets skill, not just one or the other. Because like the equation of like how much any given person has of either or both is different. And I think that somebody that is really knowledgeable should be able to do well. But the same should be true for somebody that's really skilled or equally as skilled as they are knowledgeable, you know? I think that a lot of games, if not 90% of them, even in the competitive realm, rely too heavily on one or the other. I think that Pokemon is a good candidate for a game that could naturally, within its universe, rely on both equally. And this game does a good job at getting close to that. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
That's fun.
Capcom sent it to me for reference if I didn't mention that. So don't bother me, FTC. Leave me alone.
It sounds fun. Yeah, I mean, that's one that like, if I had more time, I'd probably check it out a little bit on your profile, but I don't. But it sounds fun nevertheless.
It's a fun game.
So here you go. Yeah. All right, Q&A. Here we go. Rise Frog said, I'm on the Xenoblade kick again. Something that I've always appreciated in Xenoblade that I don't really see much in other first-party Nintendo IPs is at the end of the credits, and you see the Monolith Soft logo, and it does a cool animation. Whenever I see that, it's partially because of how much I love the series. I'm just like, man, I have just completed a game. Do you think there's room for that in other first-party Nintendo games, for them to create a logo similar to Monolith Soft's animation for some of their other studios and even Nintendo's main studios to enhance the specialty of the fact that they worked on a project?
I mean, they could. Like, I feel like the closest that they've had to that until now is like Rare, but Rare is not here no more. Yeah, like they used to have the little Rare, like the logo is like it does the little shiny, like reflective kind of situation, plays a song. But we don't do that anymore.
I mean, even honestly, I could see making a case, animation aside, just the like, you know, this is Nintendo EPD 1 and this is Nintendo EPD 4, like those kinds of things. I think
they specifically don't want to do that.
I mean, you're probably right. Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, for us nerds, it's nice to like look that up and be like, oh, it was these guys that worked on that. You know, like the ARMS team was the Mario Kart team or whatever. Right. But yeah, or it was the Splatoon team. But yeah, right?
The ARMS team was the Mario Kart team. The Splatoon team was the Animal Crossing team.
That's right.
And
I mean,
like even that is like it's not that cut and dry, which is another reason why they kind of don't want to do that. Because there's
but I mean, like Sony has like Sony Santa Monica, right? And like that's like a specific, that's like the God of War team, something.
And Nintendo has that to a degree too, with Monolith, and Retro and Good Feel and
Intelligent Systems and whatever. Yeah.
Yep. But they don't break up like their first party like in-house at Kyoto or in Tokyo studios kind of things. That's just all Nintendo. I couldn't see them straying away from that. Just because I feel like they want to they want there to be a general sense that like it's coming from Nintendo, you'll like it. They don't want to like have that division of like, well, I like the ones from this Nintendo studio, not that Nintendo studio. Whereas like we know stuff like that because they don't hide it per se, but they don't advertise it at the same time. So it's like most people just look at Splatoon and then they're like, that's a Nintendo game. And then they look at Breath of the Wild and they're like, that's a Nintendo game. That also damages them a little bit for the super nerds where they're the super nerds, but not the nerdy enough to know what they're talking about kind of super nerd. Where it's like, how can Nintendo, the studio that makes Breath of the Wild, also make Pokemon, like, exactly. That sort of thing. But like at the end of the day, I think they ultimately think it's just better to like appear as like a unified front.
Unified. Yep. Yeah. So I guess to the original question, then yeah, totally. I think that would just be a fun little thing. I don't have any problem with, or also just would be nice. Like finality of things is just a fun little thing. There was. Ashley had been playing a game and she finished it and it ended and credits didn't roll at the end. Like, I don't know when credits would have rolled, but they didn't at the like end of the game. And there was more game to do or whatever, but like the main story was done. And I was like, and she was really disappointed with the ending. And I was like, yeah, understandably, like they didn't really give a lot of like meat or like meaning to like you did it. Yeah, it was like, all right, like you can go do some other stuff now if you want. It's like, okay, weird, but I feel like the Monolith Soft Rise Frog put it in the Discord so you can see it in there, but like it's just a nice little, kind of looks like a movie studio logo, like Touchstone kind of a thing. And that is something like at the end of TV shows, I always know that's like blowing at the end of the show, or this one says not a doctor or something like that. And that's just a nice little time. So yeah, agreed.
I agree.
Next question. Lucha Boy Toy asked, what are some things you do to make gaming more accessible for yourself?
What do we mean by that specifically? I think that like on some level it's just the games that I play. Like that would probably be the easiest way to answer that. It's like I just don't play games that I don't think are for me. And like I think that some people feel like in those instances where it's like I don't think I'll enjoy this game for like I don't know, maybe it's like literally accessibility reasons, like my vision and stuff like Call of Duty, right? Like I don't play Call of Duty because I can't see what is happening before it happens to me. So like people will always see me before I see them, and I'll die because of that. So for that reason, I don't have fun with the game, so I don't play the game. Some people like will like be more rightfully so mad that they can't play the game and feel like they're like being left out or something like that, but it's just something that like is off-putting to me anyway, so I don't really want to play it. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
yeah totally. I think to your point too of like choosing which games you play, I think that really is a big thing, because there's times where I like just feel like I can't find any time for games, and then I'll pick up some game or start playing some game, just some other game that suddenly it just worms its way into my schedule, and I'm like, how did I play 30 hours of that game this month. Like I don't know, but like anytime I'd start a new island on Islanders, just end up playing it a whole bunch, because like you can just do like a little bit at a time, and it's very like I'll just one more,
Right.
minute
Exactly.
kind of a sort of thing. But then there's other games where if there's like lots of cutscenes and stuff, like I end up just not finding time for those because I feel like it's like
We
appointment
need to
gaming.
be paying attention. It's kind of that's the general answer for me. It's like to make things.
How much attention do you need to pay?
No, not even that. But like if it's not accessible for me for one reason or the other, I just don't do it. Yeah. And I was the connection I was going to make to what you just said is like that's why I don't watch a lot of stuff, because like I don't have the time or sometimes like attention span to pay enough attention to the thing to feel like I watched it, So I just don't. Like my friend Lee, he likes anime a lot, and they like watching like subbed anime. I don't got the wherewithal to do that. Like if I'm going to watch an anime, I'm watching it dubbed, because like, and it may sound like the like stereotypical dumb American thing, but like that's the language I speak. Therefore, I don't have to pay as much attention to what is being said. I can pay attention to what is on screen or what other thing that I may or may not be doing. Whereas if I have to read everything, and if I want to dedicate all my time and attention to watching this thing during the allotted time or whatever, right? I miss details in the background, and I feel like I got to rewind, like, oh, what just happened there, blah, blah. And I don't want to spend 45 minutes watching 20-minute long show because of that, like stop and start and rewind, and like I don't want to do that. So that's kind of what it is with the games too, where it's like if I don't have the attention span or desire or time to do the thing, I just play something else that I do have the desire or time or attention span to play.
Yep. No, yeah, totally agreed. I think attention is really a big thing, and I think that's why like I really like RPGs, but I definitely there's some like right now playing Live Lav and specifically playing the bit that's like the kind of classic medieval regular old RPG kind of thing feels the best to me, because it like, I mean, for better or for worse, like it's just more normal. I feel like I have to pay it just a little bit less attention, even though the other ones were interesting. Like there was one, the distant future one. It's kind of like a alien sort of like the movie Alien / 2001 Space Odyssey kind of a story, but it's very like you're doing a little story thing, and there's not really any combat. It's just kind of doing story stuff, and so I only would be able to play it when I was able to pay attention to it. But if it's just like wander around, grind, level up, random encounters, and then every once in a while I'll talk to somebody and they're like, blah, 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 I'll come with you, or blah, 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 you got to fight me, or something like that, then I don't have to, I can get context clues for everything and don't feel like if I miss a text box that I'm like, oh, no, like I don't know what I'm supposed to do anymore. I can just guess from context, and that's a nice little thing. But yeah, same kind of thing with shows. Like there was a while that I'd watch like an anime a night, and it would be subbed and that kind of thing. But at this point, like I'm just going to bed too late, and if I'm going to watch something, it's going to be half of the episode of the thing, and I'm not going to be paying fully attention. So dubbed at best, nothing at more realistic. So yeah, totally agreed. I will say the other answer to the question, what are some things you do to make gaming more accessible for yourself? Probably just that it's the Switch by and large. I think that's a big thing where, now it's not doesn't always have to be on a TV, and I can bring it with me wherever. So it will be really interesting for me to see, like right now, it feels like, for what it's worth, I'm doing a bad job at like managing life and things like that. So I just don't have a lot of free time. But some of that's my own fault or whatever, family things and all that. But I will be interested to see when Tears of the Kingdom comes out, how much time just manifests
like you
through other
actually
things.
have. Right.
Yeah, or just like priorities shift and it's like, all right, I'm gonna like this other thing suddenly, like it's important for me to work during the day in the hours I need to work during the day and not have to put it off till doing it at night and then whatever, because I actively want to be playing this game at nighttime. So like I'm gonna finish my work during the day, you know, that kind of a thing. So it's a silly old thing, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe the Tears of the Kingdom fixes my life. You know, maybe that's the solution.
Who knows,
you know,
man?
Yeah.
Stream it.
And then lastly, we got Mega Man. Honestly, true. Yeah, I'll think about it. Mega Man said, I don't have a question this week, but just wanted to say, appreciate the content you guys do and can't wait for some more videos.
Thanks.
And yeah, good to end on that because we've got 2 coming out in the next couple weeks.
True. 2 videos coming out, and we got there's new stuff about them. I hope you like, because I'm putting a lot of time and thought and energy into it. So hope you like it. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Do all the YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Do the podcast stuff. Rate the podcast. I should put that in the little pre-intro thing to rate the podcast. Tell your friends.
True.
Download it on the services and whatnot. Goodbye.
See ya. Bye.